off on NFL Primetime. Things heated up quickly in Pittsburgh with a trip to the AFC Championship up for grabs. There were no ghosts haunting Yancey, but a familiar postseason sight for Thermal as Greg Lloyd's Steelers met Jim Kelly and the Bills. To the NFC, where this year's MVP met last year's MVP as the Packers collided with the Niners in San Francisco. Could the defending champs escape with a win, or is Green Bay packing for the NFC title? NFL Primetime next. Once again, everybody, I'm Chris Berman. Welcome to the round of 8, round 1 of NFL Primetime, along with Tom Jackson and Joe Theisman. You know what? This was an enlightening day for some of us, was it not?
Was it?
Well then, shall we get started?
Why not?
Oh, I can't wait. The Buffalo Bills in the 1990s had gone 10 for 10 in the AFC playoffs. Their only losses had been in the Super Bowl. The Pittsburgh Steelers were on the edge last year before they were unceremoniously upset by the Chargers at Three Rivers Stadium. 3 years ago, a very young Pittsburgh team played the Bills in the playoffs, and Buffalo trounced them 24-3. But that was 3 years ago. This time, the still playoff-savvy Bills came into Pittsburgh and encountered a more mature, an older team, and the Steelers were ready to show the Bills what they had learned. The Bills such a great performance last week, but this week, that was at home. The terrible towels at the confluence, the fans helping the players like Kevin Green get ready. Marv Levy, what a run the Bills have had with him. Neil O'Donnell, could this be the year for the Steelers? First quarter, O'Donnell, opening drive. Yancey Thigpen. Remember the drop a couple weeks ago? Not today. 44 yards inside the 20. Then, John L. Williams, touchdown. Boom! One drive, 7 points. The towels were out at the confluence. The Bills' first possession, they look pretty good. Thurman Thomas had the big game against Miami last week, but he's hurt as he is tackled, and he had to limp out of the game. Derek Holmes had to come in, and Joey made a rookie mistake.
Yeah, he does. He starts, there's nobody there except Kevin Green. He doesn't want to go there, so Carnell Lake says, you can't go this way either. Now he circles back and winds up with a big loss, putting the Bills in a hole.
That play was close to the 20. It forced Christie to kick and miss a 52-yard field goal. So, next series, here come the Steelers. Bam Morris, the youngster with 12 yards. Bam at 106 yards today, Tom.
Yeah, and sometimes the best running lanes are created when you allow the defense to go where they want to go. Bryce popped inside, creates a natural lane to the outside for Bam Morris.
Same drive. Now the quarter has changed, but not the effectiveness of the Steelers. O'Donnell to Ernie Mills. And he makes a controversial catch, Joe, but it's 14-0.
Chris, it's not controversial. The official blew it. This is in no way a catch, but still, you have to give Ernie Mills a lot of credit. Great concentration. Lousy job by number 2, the official.
Well, and Marv Levy certainly gave them an earful, and rightly so. But the Steelers driving again. Inside the Bills' 30, O'Donnell, this throw he wants back. Thomas Smith doesn't come up with the interception, and so the Steelers get a break. Norm Johnson, boy, I wish I had a draw like that on my tee shot. 45 yards, and Norman kicked the field goal, 17-0 Steelers. Bills sputtering on fourth down. Terrible snap. Chris Moore makes a nice play, but Lethon Weapon Flowers tackles him deep in Buffalo territory. Buffalo does hold, but again, watch the draw. He should be at Carlsbad. Norm Johnson, it ends up right through the middle, 20-0 Steelers. The Bills trying to get something going before halftime. Thomas back in, but from behind, Chris Oldham forces the fumble, and the Steelers recover in the person of Carnell Lake.
Yeah, Chris Oldham with a great job here of stripping the ball. You see, he was trying to do that as he comes up, and then Carnell Lake, a hard time getting a handle on it, but he finally does.
And only the second fumble the Thermal has lost this year, but the Bills, some interesting and strange playing calling by the Steelers, and so under 2 minutes, the Bills get the ball again, and Jim Kelly to Steve Tisker, a Tasker, down to the 26-yard play, down to the 1. Thomas is in. And you know what? It's only 20-7 as the Bills are fired up, although the Steelers kick a field goal at the end of the half, make it 23-7. But in the third quarter, Greg Lloyd, Bill Johnson sandwiched Jim Kelly, and he had to leave with a bruised sternum, Joe.
Watch Bill Johnson's head right into Jim's chest. Ouch.
So Jim went to the locker room, and that meant that Alex Van Pelt, former Steeler draft pick, gets in, and what do? You give it to Steve Tasker. Boy, he has been their savior. He and Billy Brooks have. 39-yard run down to the 2. And then Van Pelt, play action to Tony Klein. That vaunted Van Pelt to Klein Bills threat. And it's 26-14. Then the Bills almost get an interception out of Pegram's hand. Cornelius Bennett couldn't come up with the biscuit. Fourth quarter. Here comes nobody tougher than number 12. Kelly is back. Thomas is back. 26-21. The Bills have done this before. And the Steelers thinking about last year's title game until 3rd and 8. Play of the game. Thigpen with a great catch. Greg Evans misses him on the play, and it keeps the drive alive. It culminated when Bam Morris, 13 yards out, boom, runs over Matt Darby, makes him look like a dinosaur, and the Steelers back up 33-21. Halfway through the fourth quarter, Bills have to make something happen, but not this. Jerry Olszewski, not Jerry Ostrowski, who plays on the line for them. We got Ostrowski, we got Olszewski, we got Lethon, we got Levon. What? Steelers driving off the turnover. This time Matt Darby, well, he's Tyrannosaurus Rex. He makes the play, and the Bills still have hope, down by 12. First play after the turnover, he saw Lethon. He shall be a Levon. Levon Kirkland with the pick for Pittsburgh. They add on another touchdown to kind of get the same margin they had in the middle of the game at the end. Jim Kelly walks off in his home area, and the Steelers are walking to the AFC title game. Kevin Green and company, Bill Cowher, and Ron Earhart have put up 40 points on the Buffalo Bills, and it's the Steelers moving on with a 40-21 win. In the game, they ran for 147, kept the Bills under 100. Bam Morris, 100-yard day. After the game, Neil O'Donnell talked about another crack in the AFC title game.
This year, our team's a lot more a team, not offense, defense. Come on, defense, stop them. Come on, offense, let's go score some points. You look at everyone. I mean, it's really a close-knit group this year. Last year, at times, we weren't that close, you know. Oh, come on, offense, you got to pull your own.
And we have enough heart, enough guts to go out and that last drive that we had that put points on the board and just hammer it down, you know, do whatever it takes to convert third downs and put some points on the board. We knew in that particular drive that we had to put some points on the board to get momentum back into our favor.
We played without Andre Reed and we played without Thurman Thomas, and you know, we just need someone to step up and make some plays, and you know, I don't think we got that done today. This football game, you know, we put a lot, you know, into this and think of it as a life or death situation, but he's in a real life and death situation. 103 temperature, you know, he basically on a deathbed, you know, in a sense, and you know, you kind of, you know, put that behind this football game and more concerned about his health.
Well, obviously, Cornelius Bennett talking about Bruce Smith, who was at home in the hospital in Buffalo with 103 temperature. I understand he couldn't really even stand up yesterday on Friday. But hats off to the Pittsburgh Steelers, who took last year's disappointment and understood we got to score a little more. And but for Buffalo, Tommy, you heard the injuries. They kind of went into World War II with a rifle. I mean, it's not enough ammo.
You know, Chris, I think that when you're the wild card team playing on the road, you have to have all hands on deck. Today, the Buffalo Bills did not have that. I think we all knew that they would suffer the consequences of Bruce Smith being back in Buffalo and not playing. Those consequences were very little pressure on Neil O'Donnell. They had no sacks today. And I think, Joe, when you get ready to go play the Pittsburgh Steelers, now you have to realize that that team that lost the championship game with only 13 points scored, now you have to score in the 30s, I think, to beat this ball club.
And they can do it a lot of different ways. You know, they always talked about that vaunting running attack. Well, now how about that vaunted passing attack? Remember the Buffalo Bill defense last week against the Miami Dolphins when the Dolphins dropped approximately 11 balls? That did not happen today for the Pittsburgh Steelers. As a matter of fact, Hastings, Thigpen, Stewart, anybody that got a ball anywhere near them today made the catches. That was the big difference today, Boom. Steelers did a great job holding on.
The play we saw with Thigpen when the Bills had crept to within 5 was probably the biggest of the game. You know what? I'm watching. I think Pittsburgh kind of in the third quarter, that drive when Buffalo got to within 5, they put behind him last year's AFC title game. We can go and score and get points rather than keep the other team in there. That's now officially behind him. And for the Bills, without Bruce Smith, Thurman Thomas injured, without their corners, Maddox, the middle, we can go on and on and on. Every team has injuries like Rod Woodson. They still might be good enough to make it around. In other words, they loaded up for one last shot. They still don't know. That's right. So they got to load up again next year because they may be good enough. But not this year, as the Steelers have certainly earned the right to try it again for the Super Bowl. We go inside the numbers. First 7 games in which the Steelers were 3-4 and turning the ball over with great rapidity. They had turned it over 20 times in the first 7 games for a differential of -8. The last 10 games, 9 of them wins. Only that loss in the final game to the Packers, +10. They took the ball away from opponents 10 more times than they fumbled or got intercepted. That's a big reason why they're moving on. We're moving on to Three Dog Night Park, where the Niners always start fast in the playoffs. But against the Packers, not today. We'll be back. Tomorrow on NFL Game Day, 4 weeks ago, the Cowboys went for it on 4th down, and they stopped them. Now, those Eagles, still flying high after last week's wild-card win, are in Dallas for the rematch. But the Cowboys have their sights set on revenge and a trip to Arizona. To get there, they need big things from their other receiver.
Teams that started, they took all the bullets, so we had to go back in there and get another weapon. So and it happened to be Kevin Williams.
In the AFC, the road to the Super Bowl runs through Kansas City. First to visit Arrowhead, the upset-minded Colts, led by quarterback Jim Harbaugh and their star running back, Zach Crockett. But will the surprising Colts be able to get through the Chiefs and their new attack defense?
Knock their ass off. Knock their ass off. The football is snapped. When that football comes off the ground, we're coming after you.
We're coming after you on NFL Game Day tomorrow at noon. That's tomorrow at noon, but right now, in about a minute, the Packers and the 49ers. Did the Packers have something in store for the champs on their home turf today? How did it happen? That's why we're here. Welcome back to Primetime. The defending champion San Francisco 49ers seem primed to make another run at winning what would be their 6th at the Super Bowl. After all, they have won 6 of their last 7 games, except they lost the last game to lose home field advantage, and they finished at 11-5. But today's opponent, the Green Bay Packers, people miss the fact that they too won 6 of their last 7 games. They too were 11-5, and they had a head coach, Mike Holmgren, who knows San Francisco inside and out. 6 years of coaching there under Bill Walsh and George Seifert. Grew up in the Bay Area as a Niners fan. Coached Steve Young at Brigham Young. On and on and on. And they had something else. Brett Favre, this year's MVP, playing frankly like last year's MVP, Steve Young. Here we go from Three Dog Night Park, where Mike Holmgren returned a game he has dreamt about. He's never played him in the 4 years he's been head coach of the Pack. Reggie White, how much could he go today? They'd be facing Jerry Rice. Every time he catches the ball, it's another playoff record. The Niners said they were fired up. And the Packers on their first series, the reverse goes to Robert Brooks. What a season he's had catching the ball, 100 catch season. Look at him run it for 15 yards. Holmgren's game plan impeccable. Favre under pressure gets it to Antonio Freeman, the other wide receivers. 3 plays later, Antonio Freeman, the other wide receivers other than Brooks. 8 yards, Chris Jackie tries a field goal, but Tim McDonald blocks the ball. The Niners are in good shape. So the next play, first play from scrimmage for San Francisco. Adam Walker gets the ball. Oh, he's hit by Wayne Simmons at the fumble, and Craig Newsome could go all the way. This is a team that hasn't forced the fumble in 9 games, and they lead at 7-0. Tom, what happened?
Yeah, textbook job of tackling here by Wayne Simmons. Hat on football right there. Pops it out for the fumble. Ball's loose. Results in a touchdown for the Packers.
So as Newsome gives the Pack the 7-0 lead, the defense holds the next series. They get it back far. Oh, Nelly, we told you on game day about Keith Jackson. Finally paying dividends, 35 yards. Next play, Favre. Robert Brooks in front of Pro Bowler Eric Davis, 21 yards. 3 plays later, oh, Nelly. Keith Jackson with a touchdown. It's 14-0 Packers. 105 yards to the Niners, -2 in the first quarter. Joe, what?
Watch this. What? Count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What great defense. I'm still going. 6, 7. Holy mackerel, is somebody open? No. Oh, I just got knocked down. Unbelievable defense.
Yeah, and the reason that nobody's open, Joe, the cover men of the Packers doing a great job downfield. Here, Craig Newsome mirroring Jerry Rice as he gets down the football field. And then Wayne Simmons, and this is what I was most impressed with. Get on top of people, knock them down as Wayne does Brent Jones right there. Keep them from running their routes.
Yeah, Reggie, I'm going to have a big day even if I only have one leg. Knocks down Steve Young, stays down for a little bit, but Reggie isn't in alone. There he is going, boom. Who else is there? Sean Jones, his buddy on the other side.
What a defensive game plan concocted by that man, Fritz Shurmur. Holmgren and Shurmur were geniuses today. Favre, into that kid Jackson. And you know what? Even the announcer would probably be open on that play. 35 yards. That sets up from the 13. Favre to Pro Bowl tight end Mark Shimura. Touchdown. 21-0 for the Cheeseheads.
Yeah, Timmy McDonald locked up with Shimura, and this is such a subtlety of the West Coast offense. The little brush right there to knock McDonald off the coverage. Shimura, easy open for the touchdown.
These are the 49ers down 21-0, trying to get back to the Super Bowl. And Young goes to Derek Lavelle for 23 yards. Young to Jerry Rice. Where was he till late in the game? 12 yards. Young to J.J. Stokes, the youngster, to the goal line. Steve is fired up. He feels some rhythm coming. And on 4th and goal, you know who's taking it. Behind Bart Oates, Steve Young, touchdown. And it's 21-10 at this point. George Seifert says we can come back, even though his quarterback took a heck of a beating. But Brett Favre, hey, no need for him to phone home except for congratulations. He falls down, has the presence of mind. Where's the defense? It's Kit Jackson again, 25 yards. Jackson, 4 for 101, sets up a Chris Jackie field goal, 24-10, the Pack. 4th quarter. John Jerkovic strips Young of the ball. Darius Holland falls on the football for the Pack. And the Packers' Mike Holmgren, who said we could not get in a scoring fest with this team, on a crucial 4th and 1. This is this year's MVP, folks. Brett Favre, first down. Edgar Bennett, 9 yards. That sets up a field goal by Jackie that put him up 27-10. The Niners would need 3 scores. They cannot believe it. Jesse Sapulu, he of the 4 rings. Steve Wallace of the 3 rings. Young to J.J. Stokes, nailed. The Butler did it. Leroy Butler did it. Young over the middle, picked off by Mike Pryor, who had no prior commitments other than this game. Young cannot believe it. They fumbled it twice. They would get picked off twice. And Mike Holmgren was offensive coordinator under George Seifert. 2 old friends shaking hands, and a job superbly done by the Green Bay Packers. We will have a new champion this year in the NFL. We also will have 2 new teams in the Super Bowl. The Packers 27, the 49ers 17. Favre 21 of 28 for 299. Young 65 passes, a new playoff record. Marino had 64 last week for the 2nd most in the playoffs. Guess what? Both teams lost throwing that much. Andrea Kramer with Reggie White going to the title game.
Even in Green Bay, they're shouting Reggie. What does this mean to you?
This is great. This is farthest I've ever gotten as a professional. I'm 1 game away from achieving a dream. Man, my teammates, these guys are great, and I just praise God. This is great. We beat a good team, Super Bowl champions, and this is giving us an opportunity to take the next step, and praise Jesus.
How were you able to get their entire offense, particularly Young, out of their rhythm?
Well, Fritz did an excellent job with the coverages, disguising the coverages. We did an excellent job up front passing. We knew they were nervous because they tried to use the comment that Mike made to try to motivate themselves, and they never did that before. So we felt we had an edge, and we came out here and proved that we did today.
Were you able to take advantage of the fact that their offensive line was so beat up, shuttling guys in and out?
Well, we took advantage of them. I think we took advantage of them by, switching in a lot of guys, and we actually wore them down, I believe, and this is great.
Could you ever imagine that you would be able to shut down this offense the way you did?
I didn't, and that credit goes to Fritz, and Fritz called an excellent game. Our coverage guys did a great job coming up on these guys. We got good pressure, and that's why we won.
Go enjoy it, Reggie. Thanks. Right. Take care.
All right, Andrew, great job. Reggie White, great job. You know how happy he is. He's 1 step from the Super Bowl. This is a dream, and a dream game by Mike Holmgren, which we'll talk about in a while. But, who would have thought it, Tom? The West Coast offense in Wisconsin is better than the West Coast offense on the West Coast, at least today.
I said a week ago that I thought the Packers ran the better version of the West Coast offense, that they had better balance. They had a quarterback who was playing better. That's difficult to say when you're talking about Steve Young. But Brett Favre is playing as good as any quarterback, or better, actually, than any quarterback in this league. And then when you look at the 49ers, I think that this is certainly not the same football team that we saw last year. There's no Ricky Waters in this lineup, no William Floyd, and J.J. Stokes did not develop into the John Taylor-type ball player they thought they would see by the end of the season. So different football team beaten by a better football team.
Absolutely right, Tommy. I couldn't agree with you more about the way Brett Favre has played. And hey, look, let's not take anything away from the Green Bay Packers. They beat the defending champions outright today. And Fritz Shurmur, who has beaten the San Francisco 49ers as a Ram, He has beaten him as an Arizona Cardinal. Now he's beaten him as a Green Bay Packer. You want to think about somebody for a head coaching job, why not mention Fritz's name? Wayne Simmons, what a terrific job at linebacker. And how about the job of the corners, McGill and Newsome, on J.J. Stokes and the great Jerry Rice. That defense just played sensational, Boom.
You know what was amazing, Joe and Tommy? San Francisco, even like with 5 minutes to go in the game, they still couldn't figure out what they were looking for at defensively. Right. And so for the first time since '87, the Niners have lost a playoff game before the championship round. And that's a long time. And for the first time since the Ice Bowl, the Packers are in the NFC title game. And won't we churn up John Facenda this week just a little bit? Speaking of legends, Don Shula. And it's ironic, he was talking with our Roy Firestone for our Sunday night conversation tomorrow night. As he was watching the Packers-Niners game, here's the legendary coach looking at the Packers' third touchdown to Mark Chmura.
Take us through here now. It's
well, you see Favre under center, and you watch the center and the nose tackle to start with, and the fake, the play-action pass. He's got the guy wide open for the touchdown. But that happens because the running game is working, and if the running game isn't working, then people stay back there and they play pass all the way.
Well, yeah, the fires are still burning. This just in. And we'll have Don on the Sunday night conversation in his talk with Roy Firestone. That's on SportsCenter tomorrow at 11 Eastern Time. So the Packers, who forced less turnovers this year than any other team in the NFL, the least ever, 3, get one on the first play on defense. You figure it out. When we return, we got some prime-time players, and you're looking at one right there. I don't think we're letting any cat out of the bag by saying he just might get one of our game balls. We'll be back.
To all beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun.
To all beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun.
To all beef patties,
special sauce, lettuce, cheese,
pickles, onions
on a sesame seed bun.
Take a big Mac break.
Have you had your break?
At McDonald's, have you had your break? Today, let's eat.
Primetime Players is brought to you by 1-800-COLLECT, the way everyone can save on collect calls. It's easy. Just dial 1-800-COLLECT from any phone and save.
My game ball goes to Mike Holmgren. What a homecoming for him at San Francisco, the team that he rooted for, the team that he coached for, against the quarterback that he used to coach in college. Mike, I don't know if they drink Chardonnay in Green Bay. We're toasting you tonight. Congratulations. Joe?
Mine goes to the offensive line of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Nobody ever gives them any credit. They said they never got any. I want to give it to them tonight. John, Justin, Dermonte, Brendan, and Leon, what a great job you did all day to protect Neil O'Donnell and let Bam run. Tommy?
And my primetime player, Brett Favre, MVP of the league, 21 of 28, 299 yards, 2 TDs. Looks like a guy headed somewhere. We'll be back.
Maryland with a veteran basketball team, but the Terps have...
Congratulations to the Steelers and the Packers, gentlemen.
Yeah, and credit the Packer coaches on both sides of the football for game plan and getting back to basics. I'm talking about hitting receivers at the line of scrimmage, not allowing them to run free down the field.
And I'm talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers playing as a total football team. Without any question, every unit, offense, defense, special teams, did the job today.
My daughter Meredith turned 10 today. I say that because A, I love her very much. B, she had a much better day than the 2 teams that I picked for the Super Bowl. Thanks for watching Primetime. For Joe and Tom, I'm Chris Berman. We'll see you.
Happy birthday, Meredith.
College basketball is next.